here with Real Progress in Action. I am going to give it a minute so I can see people joining. As you can probably tell, I have a bit of a cold I'm trying to get rid of. And I go to Iowa tomorrow for 5 weeks. So I've just been running around like crazy. But I wanted to do a special show tonight just because it's the year end and what an insane year it's been. So I'll just wait until a few more people join. And in the meantime, while you guys are watching, feel free to put in the comments things that stand out to you about 2019. What things impacted you the most? I know, all of us have our own memories and things which, really stand out to us, but I'm curious to see if we, are thinking about the same ones. So obviously, one of the best things was last January, we started a kind of draft Bernie type thing, where we were organizing and having meetings trying to get his ass to run again. And tons of people took part. It happened, thousands of people had house parties. I was one of them. We just kind of organized and got things together. Miss Nina spoke, so I was like, okay, well, she's down. There might be something going on. So, we were hopeful, but we didn't want to expect it, because, no expectations, no disappointments. Then come February, there were 2 leaked articles that Bernie was going to be announcing a run. And I legit ugly cried for like 3 days. And I tried not to get too invested because I was like, since when do we trust the media unless it's independent media? We don't. But I couldn't help it. I was like just freaking out. Then Bernie announced, and see, I just got goosebumps. When we had our conference type thing where it was online and we organized parties and everything to get together and start organizing immediately, 45 countries got together for this live stream. So like 45 countries, not just states, but actual countries. And that's the beautiful thing about our movement. It knows no borders. It has no boundaries. I met 2 gentlemen who are coming to Iowa from Ireland, and I am meeting up with a gentleman who's coming from the UK. There are groups on social media, Peru for Bernie Sanders, and France for Bernie Sanders, Africa for Bernie Sanders. We have tons of, other countries who actually even phone bank for us. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. And it's beautiful that we all come together and we're able to solidify and rally around not just one person, but around one movement. And it's funny, last night I posted on Twitter, and I said, can you fathom any other candidate being able to, rally people from other countries? I'm sorry. I don't see anyone like coming from like another country to, canvass for Warren or Biden or any. I'm sorry. I can't see that. And if there is such a thing, it's like a one-off. Um but also, we have endorsements from people like Lula and Corbyn and people who are heroes in other countries. That's freaking amazing. That is huge because it also shows that we're going to be able to work with other countries. Um, and that's kind of a necessity if you're a president. Um, so in any case, I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but when he announced, I think, there were hundreds of thousands of us who are quite overjoyed with that. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. So he announced in February. Right before that, Tulsi Gabbard announced. I think we all thought she was somebody else. We all remembered her as stepping down from the DNC, backing Bernie. Then we realized she announced, he hadn't announced. We're like, what's going on? A lot of people were convinced. I think part of it just because of cognitive dissonance. They were convinced that she was running because they were working together and she was there to have his back, things like that. I think it's very, very, very fair to say that is not the case at all. She has proven herself to be not exactly who we thought she was, in a number of ways. So that was disheartening for a lot of us. So, it became very clear a number of months ago that she is running against us, not with us, against us. They're running two separate campaigns for the same exact job. Not cool. And we've learned a lot about her platform, and her, just not being cool with Medicare for all, hating on the federal job guarantee, spouting UBI talking points, praising W and Obama and Huckabee, and it becomes more and more apparent each day that unfortunately she is no longer an ally. In my opinion, I don't care if you still vote for her. That's your choice. But in my opinion, I think at this point, because of how much she is loathed and how much Berners do feel betrayed by her, I think at this point, a lot of people still want her drop and endorse Bernie. I think her endorsement may actually hurt us at this point, to be quite honest. Because a lot of people see her as a Republican, and going on, white nationalist talk shows and things like that. I don't think that's a good look for our campaign. I'm not saying I wouldn't appreciate it if she dropped and endorsed him, but in any case, I don't see that happening at all. She keeps saying over and over she is going to the convention. Now people say she's doing that so that she can give Bernie her delegates. Problem with that is she's not going to have any delegates. So as I stated, I'm going to Iowa tomorrow from Pennsylvania for 5 weeks. I'm going to be on the campaign trail, and, canvassing for Bernie and working at different campaign offices and all the things I can do to help us win. And the way that it works there is that each candidate needs to get 15% of the vote. I know polls aren't, the greatest thing in the world, but in which case, in which state has she even gotten to the point where she had even 10%, let alone 15? She has no campaign offices. None. Not a single one. How do you run for president without a single campaign office? This I don't understand. So excuse me, damn cold. So when people say she's just going to convention to give Bernie her delegates, that's actually completely false, because I don't see how it's possible that she'll get 15% in even a single state. So therefore that means no delegates. Now a lot of people's second choice who have Tulsi is Bernie. So yes, she is actually hurting us in that regard. But the good thing about Iowa and New Hampshire and such is that if your candidates do not hit 15%, they have a second vote in the caucus. And what I'm going to be a precinct captain, so I'm going to be watching and making sure there's no bullshit 6 out of 6 coin toss bullshit like last year when Hillary's people blocked the cameras and said she got 6 out of 6 coin tosses, which is like literally mathematically impossible. So I'm going to be one of the people there on guard, and I will have my cell phone ready. You can believe that. And one of my jobs is going to be, like, let's say four people in the race have only 4 out of the 14 left have hit 15% in the poll at least once. Okay, so let's presume that the other 10 don't get 15%. What that means is they will hold another vote at the caucus and say, this is your chance to either leave or realign with your second choice. So that's going to be my chance to be like, okay, Tulsi people, look, I understand you're pissed she didn't make 15%. I get it. But if you come to join Bernie, there's a really good chance she's going to be in his administration. Can you please come join us? Only people I think have the possibility of joining us would be Tulsi and Yang people, but I can't guarantee, because some of the fans of both of them are just not nice. So we'll have to see, but those are probably who I'd focus on. But in any case, there won't be any delegates. So no, she's not doing us favors by staying in the race. It is her right to stay in the race, and I'm not going to say she needs to drop out, because that's her right, and it's, go ahead. She will not be getting my vote. I am Bernie for the past 4 years. Bernie, period. That's it. That's my man. And he's the only one that represents we the people. So I find that just a no-brainer. Now, Elizabeth Warren said numerous times in 2018 that she was not going to run for president. She announced, I believe it was 1 year ago today, it was on New Year's Eve. And it was interesting because at first I'm like, okay, well, she said she wasn't going to run. What the hell's this bullshit? But then it was crazy, because the first 7 months after she ran, she literally never made it above 6% in a poll for 7 months. And now, oh, she can win, she can win, she can win. Well, because what happened over the past 5 months? She started trying to be Bernie more and more and more. People love Bernie, and people love Bernie Light when they're in a suit of a woman. That's what it is. That's the thing she has on us. She is a woman. Identity politics shouldn't be a thing. It is. Um, Bernie and her get compared all the time. They get their names are interchangeable with so many people. Well, I like Bernie, but I'm going to go with Warren because they're the same, but I want a woman president. No, they are far from the same. And that would take me about 3 hours to go down the list of why. But we are seeing more and more with her that she is just, well, she is not even close to a progressive, just not even close. And we're seeing that from, well, first of all, backing off of Medicare for all. As someone who has worked in healthcare for 10 years, I find it extra disgusting when candidates like her and Yang, purposely change up things to confuse the people, because people are dying. And I don't think it's cool to be like waffling and saying, well, yes, I'm calling it Medicare for all, but it's just a point I want to get to eventually. No, stop. People are very confused and you are making it worse. So if there's one thing that just really infuriates me, it's giving mind fucks. People deserve to understand what you are proposing. Not everybody is going to read the plan themselves. And let's be honest, not everyone is going to understand the plan themselves. Bernie, hands down, does the best possible way he can to explain what universal health care is. He is the only one who breaks it down. Liz Warren also has something that I find incredibly offensive in her healthcare packet. She has mental health separate. And it, like the other things, involves insurance companies. The fact that she has that separate shows me that she is creating extra loopholes. And that is not going to help the millions of people who need help in that respect. How many people are on prescription drugs and see therapists and everything for mental health needs? To have its own section, there's something ableist about that. I don't trust it. The verbiage is completely different. And she also talks about it taking 10 years of a transition period. Didn't we call out Kamala for that? Because I swore we did. But Liz is very untouchable when it comes to things like that. You're not supposed to bash a fellow progressive. She was a Republican for 2/3 of her life, but fellow progressive. I will say currently I am getting very frustrated with the Sanders campaign because we have Iowa in a month, and they need to start doing way better with differentiating him from Warren. They need to do better. I understand they're like, well, let's go to Biden and Buttigieg and stuff. Look, we're not getting Biden and Buttigieg's people. We're not. So yeah, they need to be called out because they suck, but we're not getting their voters. We may get some of Liz's voters if we expose her differences and her lies and her past and her inconsistencies, etc. They need to do a better job of saying, even if they do it like, we respect Liz because they've worked together for a decade, blah, blah, blah. But the difference is, like, Bernie posts on Twitter, and it is so obvious that it's about her. Obvious. Like, when she came out with, like, these, like, shirts about, like, capitalism is only bad if, and, like, stuff like this, and then he'd make a post about capitalism being horrible, or saying that she takes money from billionaires and then has things mugs on her website that says, billionaire tears. And it's like, they're not scared of you. They're donating to you. Okay. Just stop. But Bernie, even if it's just his crew, they need to start addressing her by name, because I get it. They're going to be called sexist the second they do it. I know. We went through this. I get it. But there's got to be a way that we can do it so that even if it's done in a respectful way, it needs to happen. Now, I will say, Sean King, Miss Nina, all of them, who are surrogates and what have you, they all have been like seriously like calling out Buttigieg and his blatant racism, and Biden and things like that. So that is an improvement. That makes me happy, because we are in the primaries. Even though people love to say stop attacking them, it's not. It's pointing stuff out. And the fact that you feel it's an attack shows that it's not that great of news that you want to be shared. Because you're not going to post something about Bernie wanting healthcare for all and then me be like, stop attacking him. I'll be like, hell yeah, share that. Hell yeah. So it's pretty. Buttigieg, I'm telling you, and this is not, and I told you so, because I was wrong as hell about a few things this year. I was wrong as hell. But I'm telling you, from the get-go, even when Pete Buttigieg was polling at 2-3%, I kept telling you guys, he's going to go up. He is going to go up, and he scares the hell out of me, because he is a total bloodlust, warmongering, like, bigot and sexist and racist, and he's a Republican with a D against, his name. And I kept fearing him, and people kept saying I was nuts. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, he's going to have his moment as people start dropping out. Now, where I was wrong is that I thought Beto and Kamala would be in it till the end. I did, and I think many of us did. So I was definitely wrong on those two things. I think Beto would have made it farther if more people didn't keep jumping in. Then Kamala, I was very surprised. I mean, the only reason she dropped is because she had to close all her campaign offices and nobody was donating to her ass. But that surprised me. She has a huge following, and identity politics. So that definitely surprised me. I was not thinking that was the case. Cory Booker and Julian Castro have both been saying for over 2 months, if I don't make the debate, I'm going to be dropping, blah, blah, blah. They haven't. Personally, I am okay with that. I would rather the centrist vote be divided by 10 instead of 2. And for some reason, Julian, even though, he bothers me in ways in the past, especially, he doesn't make me want to punch a wall or anything. So whatever, he's the least of my concerns. So then you have Amy Klobuchar. How does she keep making debates? I don't know. There's been 5 debates. Some of them have just been atrocious. Of course, they've gone at Bernie, and, they always have these stupid ass gotcha questions for him. We anticipated that. We all knew it was going to happen. It's a repeat. We already know how it ends. So the calculations with the debates has been a huge issue thus far. Now, I'm very happy that the day we announced our campaign, we were good through the entire year for debates. All five, we were good the day we announced. We raised more money than anyone else. So we were good. But selflessly, it is a bunch of shit that now for January's debate, which is arguably the most important because it's before Iowa and New Hampshire, well, and Nevada and South Carolina, that is going to be a huge debate. And the way that they've done this to get people back in, since last time there was only 3 hours with 6 candidates. Oh my God. Anyway, now what they're doing is they're literally letting them go back to the polls in November to get on the stage in January. How is that okay? All of them were higher in November. So you're looking at Julian, Corey, all of them, they're going to be back. All of them. Maybe Tulsi. Basically, all of them that stopped being qualified will now be qualified. It's a bunch of bullshit. The bar should be raised, not lowered. This presidential campaign run has officially been going a year. If you can't reach above 4%, maybe it's time to drop out? I don't know. I mean, it seems like, dude, okay, Delaney. He's been polling at 0 for months. He's hilarious. But why is he running? Then you have, every time someone else entered, it was terrifying because it was like, oh my God, here we go, another person. And majority of us have been terrified that Hillary's coming in. Now, okay, call me paranoid, call me a conspiracy theorist, I don't give a shit. She did miss, even if she jumped in now, she did miss 2 states that she would have to register by to be on the ballot. But here's my thought, because I'm not putting anything past her, because I'm just not. So my thought is, what if she was in some way allowed to have one of her staff members or someone file for her? Or what if she went incognito and did it herself? I don't know. I'm not ruling it out. I'm not, because people are going to have a rude ass awakening if all of a sudden she just shows up. Because now she's on the polls and stuff too, and she's at like 15%. I'm like, it's like when before Biden announced, over 2 months before Biden announced, he was like polling at like number 2. Why are you putting people in the polls who literally haven't even announced they're running? But so I'm still worried about her jumping in. I'm not kidding. My thing is, Hillary is still talking to and meeting with Liz Warren. Why? What do you have to discuss? How to lose against Trump? What are you discussing? The fact of the matter is, Hillary is not going to let another woman be president, the first woman president. So what I think is going to happen is at some point, Hillary will enter, Liz will step down and endorse her, and they'll have some kind of VP thing, because that's what they were doing last time until Hillary ditched her for freaking Tim Kaine. It's every day is literally like the SATs. There are 100 different ways this shit could go. I am so proud that we have such a good chance. We are polling number one in Iowa, and Vegas, and we have 13 Black, 13 African American lawmakers in South Carolina, their endorsements. South Carolina, we freaking bombed last time. I mean, we just bombed it. We had like 21% of the vote. It was awful. So the fact that we're polling really great in South Carolina now means a lot. We had endorsements of a coalition with over 90 progressive groups from across the country endorse us. And then last week we had another coalition with over 50 progressive groups from across the United States endorse us. Today is the last day that you can vote for Sunrise Movement if you're a member of them. Today is the last day to vote for Bernie. I am not going to count their endorsement as a given. Yes, it's literally Bernie's the only one who makes sense. He's been talking about climate change literally for like as long as we've been alive. However, I don't take anything for granted, ever. And when they did the first vote, it was something like Liz was like 82 and we were like 93 or something. It was close. Like, it was really close. So that's a little too close for comfort. I don't like being like 11 away from each other. That makes me nervous. And let's face it, after Working Families Party screwed us, I mean, I'm not getting hyped. So today's the last day to vote. Now, when the vote totals come out, which should be this week, we will find out, well, the first week of January, I should say, we will find out, who the winner was, and B, if Sunrise has decided to endorse them. Because it was two questions on the survey they sent out to their members. It was A, who out of these candidates, and B, should we endorse one? So there's also a possibility that Bernie gets it and they say, but we don't want to endorse anyone after all, which would be stupid as hell, but it's a possibility. Now, a couple of the leads and creators of Sunrise have endorsed him, but there's like a million chapters, so that doesn't necessarily mean much. If we got the endorsement from Sunrise, dude, that would be insane. They have like, that means that, we would gain all those votes. Essentially, I mean, they're still allowed to vote for who they want. But it would help. It really would. Sorry, gang, this cold's killing me. We are opening our 23rd Iowa campaign office on Friday. We have 23 campaign offices in Iowa. That's how you win, right there. That's insane. I think Liz is next in line with 7. So, I mean, it's just incredible. Before I forget, in 2 hours at midnight Eastern, ends our FEC deadline, and we're trying to make 5 million donations. We've made $5 million. That's not the thing. We're trying to hit 5 million donations. this morning we were only 60,000 short. And we've all been like riding everyone's ass all day like crazy to try and get them to donate. I donated $2.70 because I'm going to Iowa for 5 weeks and have no money. And that's what I'm telling people to do. If you can donate $2.70, we are this close. Oh my God, we are so freaking close. We've already made history, regardless. We've already gotten more donations than any other presidential candidate in presidential history. That's enormous. But think about what a threat it would be to people if we say, oh yeah, we reached 5 million individual contributions by the end of the year. That, I mean, that makes people think we're viable, things like that. And should that be what it's about? Not necessarily, but unfortunately, we have to do these things to show people, look, we don't take corporate money and we're still kicking all of your asses. That's pretty amazing. Also, something I wanted to talk about is, now I totally forgot what it was. Couldn't have been that important. But, so yeah, if you can, go to BernieSanders.com and even donate $2.70. That'd be phenomenal because we can totally rock that shit. So we've only had, we announced in February, we have over 1 million volunteers. Insane. And we're getting more and more every single day. And there are people like me, too, who are coming from out of state, even out of the country, just because we believe in what this is doing. It's like Miss Nina says that, you know, only all that we love is on the line. And it's true. We're all sick of seeing people dying because they don't have affordable health care or any health care at all. We're sick of seeing homelessness because people don't give a shit about housing. We're sick of people not being able to find a job or a fair wage because they don't have a federal job guarantee. We're sick of not helping out the environment and trying to stop climate change because there is no federal job guarantee, and people assume there's no funding to do this work. 10 years is gonna go by like this, and then it's too late. Then what? Too late to reverse anything while we're sitting on our asses bitching about, well, I want to vote for so-and-so because they have a vagina. No, I'm sorry. People's lives and climate and everything like that is just way more important. As far as Bernie and who he would pick as VP, like I said, Tulsi has disappointed a lot of us. I have always been burn and turn 2020. To me, no one can top Miss Nina. Picture Nina freaking Turner taking on Mike Pence. That would be like almost equivalent to winning the election. It would be freaking amazing. And the interesting thing is, when I first started saying it to Nina, she'd be like, oh, okay. Or like, she'd say, well, I'll have to do an interview or something like that. And now, like people, like I posted a screenshot on Twitter yesterday that said, someone said, good evening, VP. And she put, good evening. And I was like, oh shit, she's responding. And then someone else put, you really would be the best VP because blah, blah, blah. And she gave a black fist like that emoji. And I'm like, oh shit, she is warming up to she's warming up to it. And not only that, we would have the first woman VP, and we would have the first black woman VP, and we would have a diehard progressive, and we would have someone who rallies people like crazy, and we would have someone passionate as hell who will not take any shit from the Dems. And I mean, it would just be dream team times 100, like total dream team. And I'm trying to talk to my insiders and stuff, and they're like, well, there's talk, but we don't know anything. And I'm like, damn it. They could just be telling me that because they know I'll share it. But but you guys know that shit would rock so hard. So yeah, that's my hope. I know traditionally you don't state your VP choices until unless and until you would win the nomination, but nothing about this year has been conventional. So I hope Bernie just sits there and like wins a couple states and then says, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna announce my VP because she's badass. So Miss Nina, come out here. I just think it's just so, like, yesterday I had goosebumps so hard when I saw her respond to the VP. I was like, oh my God, she's actually falling for it now. It's exciting because she knows I keep tagging her in people's polls. They keep saying, Burners, who is your dream VP? And she always wins, always. And then I'll tag her in it. She never liked the post or anything. You could tell she saw them because she always likes my posts, but she never liked it or anything. But now she's not just liking them, she's responding. So that's exciting because with that shit, oh my God. Something that does concern me is, nobody wants, well, some people want, but none of us want Trump a second term, obviously. Oh, yay, thank you, Julie. So one of the things that is so important during this campaign is that Bernie beats Trump. You hear people talk 24/7. I don't want Trump to win. The most important thing is getting Trump out of office. Okay, cool. If you don't care who and you're vote blue no matter who, stay home during the primary. Let those of us who do care go out and vote, and then you could just vote for whoever wins. But the thing is, so many people who say vote blue no matter who are never Bernie. So I don't think they understand that, like, no matter who doesn't have an asterisk or a caveat or anything like that. It literally means no matter who. And that is a really poor decision to post all over social media and everything, that you guys can continue cheating, being warmongers, voting for wars, taking big money, because we're going to vote blue no matter who. So it's all good. So it's a very dangerous thought. And then there's some people who think there's no way Trump's going to win again. He's been exposed. Everyone knows he's trash. Well, you know what? Everyone doesn't know he's trash. That's the problem. And furthermore, okay, let's say this. Let's say Biden wins the nomination. God, shudder to think. Are people like you and I going to be, like, inspired to go out and vote for him? Not a chance. Oh, by the way, he came out yesterday, in case you guys didn't hear. Biden came out yesterday and said he's open to selecting a Republican as VP. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but Bernie's not even a Democrat. So, is that what's going to get people to the polls? Because you and I both know The fact that Bernie, if he is the nom, there is no way in hell 70 million people are staying home. Not gonna happen. Not a chance in hell. Nobody is more passionate than Berners. Nobody. And we will all come together, knock on every freaking door 3 times, phone bank, do what, I mean, nobody has the movement to do this. Nobody has more donations than Trump, than us. Nobody has bigger crowds than Trump, but us. These things don't, aren't equivalent to votes, but they matter. They do. I mean, this is support. This is a movement. You need to be encouraging people to get out, to be excited. Our campaign has excitement. I don't see that excitement other places. So Bernie beats Trump. If you really want to beat Trump, Bernie's your man. No matter how much people fight it and don't want to believe it, it's true. Poll after poll for 4 years has shown it's true. One of the other things that's, interesting, yet I am very cautious because we went through this kind of hiatus in 2016 of something comparable. But as of late, the past week, we've had MSM kind of coming out with articles left and right that, wow, Bernie has a chance. Wow, DNC is actually realizing that Bernie has a chance of winning. And you're seeing these articles coming out. And you're seeing, headlines like from like WAPO and shit, who runs, smash pieces on Bernie 24/7. Ones that say, Bernie still has a huge supporter base, and that's what it'll take to win. Things like that. And it's just like, whoa, okay, this is scary because I'm not celebrating. I know this shit is, what's going to happen is the more we get praised, the more the wolves come out. Hands down. Anti-Semitism blowing up. I mean, I've never seen so much anti-Semitism as I have in the past few months against Bernie. It's disgusting. And these are Dems. Majority are Dems. And, the not even a Democrat garbage, all those, he has like 5 houses garbage, just all this stuff. And then just trying to dig up stuff, it's intensifying because he's getting praised, because he's getting the most donations, because he's doing well in polls. They fear him. They fear that some awful old man is going to give them free health care. That mean, mean man. That's how privileged they are. That they can hate someone who is actually trying to help people. It's awful. I don't understand. Even if you don't like Bernie or support Bernie, why wouldn't you at least respect the fact that he is 100% out there fighting for us? I don't understand why you could hate him for that. And it's like we always say, we are fighting for you even though you hate us. It's okay. We're still fighting for you. Oh yeah, Pete'sWineCave.com. Awesome. At the debates, Jeff Weaver, who I interviewed, you can check that out. That was a great interview. He's Bernie's campaign manager of 32 years. Him and Miss Nina wore shirts to the debate that said Pete'sWineCave.com. And when you click it, it takes you to Bernie's donations. Genius. Absolutely genius. And that's the thing, in 2016, never would have happened. It used to infuriate so many of us just how classy Bernie stayed with Hillary. And I know her fans will say he was so rude and so sexist and so misogynist. I would have been hauled off the stage. I would have gone at her like I would have verbally ripped her a new asshole. He was a classy, perfect gentleman because he kept it on issues. This time, he is tagging people, other presidential candidates, and he is going at them. Granted, not Warren, but hopefully we'll get there. But he has this feistiness that he didn't have in 2016. And I think it's because he knows this is his last chance. Like, we have one more chance. This is it. If we don't win this time, we don't get Bernie. It's that simple. We just don't. Dude's 78. We have one more chance, and that's why we're all working extra hard. Of course, we know the Trump impeachment thing is, I totally agreed with Bernie at first, and I understand why he kind of backed off on it because of pressure. But what Bernie said at first was, the problem with this is it's going to distract people from all the important issues. I 1,000,000,000% agree. And that's exactly what's happening. Everything is like, impeach, impeach, impeach. Well, here's the problem with that. If he does get, like, impeached to the point where he's kicked out, Mike Pence can very well win, because Trump supporters and, like, Republicans who don't like Trump will say, well, Mike Pence is new. He hasn't really done anything bad while, you know, during the 4 years. Let's just give him a try. He could very well win. The other very realistic thing that is likely to happen is it will not pass the Senate, and Trump will be emboldened and say, ha, they did the Russiagate bullshit, nothing came of it. Tried to impeach me, nothing came of it. I'm invincible. And it's going to only embolden him and his base. And that is, in my opinion, likely exactly what's going to happen. This is just bananas to do this during a primary. It's crazy. Like, it is crazy that it is falling on this timeline. So we need to just stick to the message of Bernie. We need to, we need to focus. When people say, when people post about impeachment all the time on my page, and I just ignore it. I mean, that the Republicans don't, owe me shit. They don't owe a lot of us shit. I've never donated to them. I've never caucused for them. I've never voted for them. I've never been a Republican. Why do I care what they're saying every day and stuff? Yeah, it's cool to be educated. I get it. But at the same time, the Dems are the one who cheated my candidate. The Dems are the one who took my money that I gave to my candidate. The Dems are the one who betrayed me. The Dems are the one I protested in Philly. These are the ones that I want to put in check. Those people. Because they're the ones I have to associate myself with a D on the end of my name through May or through April, because I'm in Pennsylvania and it's a close primary state. I don't have a choice. I have to register them to vote for Bernie. Plus, I applied to be a delegate for Bernie, so to go to Milwaukee and cast my vote officially. I'm not sure. My application was received. I don't know if I'm going to be chosen to be on the ballot, but being on the same ballot as Bernie would be awesome. But I digress. So I had to register Dem. I had no choice. I am perfectly happy staying independent. But that's the thing. We're in a hostage situation. We have to do it in 13 states. So the fact that I need to be a part of this party, I'm going to hold them accountable. You better believe it. All of us need to. If you are being associated with this like team sport thing, you are the company you keep. If you're okay with everything they do and all you do is say, well, the Republicans, not good enough. We all expect those things from Republicans. Democrat is supposed to mean democracy. Democrat is supposed to be we the people. That's what it used to be. And that's what Bernie Sanders would bring it back to. That is what it would be. This would bring it right back to the roots of where it started. That, comparatively speaking, would be freaking utopian. I have hope. I'm going to Milwaukee in July, regardless if I'm a delegate or not. I was at Philly at the convention, marching outside, and I will be in Milwaukee as well. I am prepared for either possibility. We all need to be. This is, in 2016, it was a protest. It was Occupy DNC. In 2020, it would be a revolt. It would be Yellow Vest. It would be, I'm done. I am never going to be a Democrat again. Like, period. I don't care who's running. Like, it's over. No. Like, they will go down as a party. They will lose donations. They're already in debt. Our campaign has more donations than the DNC and the DCCC combined. That's insane. Like, you tried to screw us and we have more money than you do now. So, probably not a good idea. There are hundreds of thousands of us, if not at least 1 million of us, who are saying, this is your last chance. We will leave forever. This is it. We're done. Your party will be no more. Period. And, you know, not to be insensitive or anything, but a lot of the people who are like, I'm Dem, I've always been Dem, I'll always be Dem. A lot of that's the older generation. And as they pass on, there's going to be a lot more people like you and I who are saying, nope, we're going independent. That's it. Done. So this is going to be their last chance in so many ways. I do not trust them at all. And anybody who does is kind of bananas. Yay, Rebecca. That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We have a fight on our hands, and the polls are looking good. Donations are looking good. Volunteers are looking good. Campaign offices are looking good. Responses of people we talk to are looking good. But we need to get people out to vote. If you guys do one thing, besides donate to Bernie in the next hour, if you guys do one thing, please let it be to offer people, to give them a ride to the polls, to show them where they vote, to encourage them. Please get out and vote, because that is imperative. We have, I think it's something like 60% of millennial vote. Not surprising. Doesn't mean shit if they don't come out. It means nothing. They can wear the t-shirts, they can have the posters, they can wear the buttons. If they don't cast a vote, it means nothing. And all this work is for naught. We need them to come out. It's imperative. I cannot stress that enough. 2016 really gave, I call Occupy DNC PTSD. That was one of the worst weeks of many of our lives. And I don't want a repeat of that because it was at times absolutely unbearable. And it absolutely destroys you to see something that you have put every single ounce of your soul into and every inch of your heart, and then just see it just ripped from you. I can't even describe that feeling. It's a loss. It's like a grieving. It's like 5 stages. No, this didn't happen. This can happen. Oh my God, it happened. What do I do? Like it's stages. And the thought of going through that again is just, it's like more than I can bear to think about. So, I mean, we have to get people out, you guys. It's our last chance. I can't stress it enough. And if I know, I got laid off. I'm fortunate in the respect that I can pick up and go to Iowa for 5 weeks. It's a blessing in disguise because in 2016, after PA primary, I watched 10 people from my campaign office, my Bernie campaign office in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, drive across the country, all the way to California, stopping at all the states in between, and canvassing for Bernie. And I would look at those posts every day on Facebook and just want to cry at how jealous I was, because I was sitting at a desk 9 to 5 in an office while they were living my passion. And this time I got laid off. I'm ready. I'm doing it. That's it. Like, I am going to try everything in my freaking power to get that man elected. So tomorrow I am basically a quick breakdown. Tomorrow there are 12 of us meeting in a town called Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's about a half hour from Harrisburg. So there's 12 of us. We rented a van and we are going to a place called Wellman, Iowa. It's about an hour and a half from Sioux City. One of the girls' parents live there. We're staying with them. So that's tomorrow the 1st. It's a 15-and-a-half-hour drive, which makes me want to cry in the fetal position, but there won't be enough room to cry in the fetal position, so I'll probably just cry on whoever's shoulder I'm sitting next to. And then they will be staying, we'll be canvassing Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday morning, they are all leaving to go back to Pennsylvania. So they will only be actively canvassing for 3 days. I will be staying 5 weeks. And I will be, on Sunday then, I will be going to Davenport. I scored an apartment there for a month. A girl who works for the campaign had an apartment and she got switched to a different campaign office, so she's subletting it to me, and I feel like I scored the freaking lottery. So I'm bringing an air mattress for anyone who needs to crash. If you can make it to Iowa, hit me up. I will do my best to find someone in that town to help you, or I will start a GoFundMe for like out-of-staters going to Iowa, so we can get you a B&B, or I don't care. Just PM me. I'll do whatever I can. because there's too many of you who have such great hearts and you really want to help, and it's so important. We can't do this without you guys. So thank you so much to those who donated to our group trip and also who donated to help keep me in Iowa for 5 weeks, with you know, no money. Essentially, I really am a basement dweller. Like, I really am. It's like, hi, I'm laid off, but I'm just like going to start a GoFundMe and just go to Iowa and hang out a little. But it's I just didn't. I couldn't miss it. I was like, if I have to take out a charge card, I don't give a shit. I'm going. I don't care. Uh, so you guys are helping me tremendously, and it means everything. My mom, actually called me today, and she was crying, and she said, um, I'm just so proud of you. And it just kind of took me off guard for a minute, and I was like, you are? And she's like, I've seen you accomplish so much with your show and everything like that, and I, you know, I can't believe you're going across the country for something you believe in. And it just like, it really hit home, because I was like, wow, like, your mom says she's proud of you, you know what I mean? It's just like, what? And it just kind of like, I just felt like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. Like, I really am doing the right thing. So it just kind of gave me that extra push to, like, to be so happy that I am doing what I'm doing tomorrow. I am so thankful for all of you. I need to get rid of this cold. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, going to Iowa like in like 20 degrees is not something I want to do with a cold, but yay. And I feel bad for the people in the van who are going to listen to me like blow my nose the whole time. But thank you guys so freaking much. I am going to be going live on the trail. I'll be going live. I'm sure I'll be going to Bernie events because I'll be volunteering for them. I think sometimes I'll volunteer if they ask, and sometimes I'll just do my usual, go to the press section and film. So really, depending on the situation, if I'm like really needed or not. But I will be interviewing people along the way. I have interviewed some people who, candidates who live there in Iowa, so I will be, I've already given them a heads up I'm going. So I have tons of stuff planned. I'll be going live with the 11 other people I'm going with tomorrow, and I'll probably be doing it at night, just because I'll be like so all over the place. I am being made canvas captain, which means I'm going to be canvassing, but also Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm going to be organizing all the canvassing for the Davenport office. So I'm going to be like pointing to places on the map and being like, I need you here, I need you there, and then training people to get them comfortable with doing it as well. So there's already tons of work for me to do there. So thank you guys so much again. I wish you guys an awesome new year. And you guys have just helped make my year just so freaking phenomenal. I am so fortunate to be able to do this and to be able to do what I do. I have to pinch myself to you know, you guys watching and sharing and donating, like that's how I can do this. So you guys are my freaking heroes. Like you have no idea. So thank you guys so much, and I'll be updating you guys during the next 5 weeks and keeping you updated of the ground game out there. So thank you all so much again. Much love. Take care. Stay safe tonight. A lot of fruitcakes on the road. Much love.